If you navigate to their export feature under Lending Manager, you just put in your wallet address, and it'll export all the contracts that you've shipped under that address. You can also do like whitelist ID, third-party wallet address, and then I think borrower address is also an option.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the stats the other day, and at any given time, looked like there were about 6,000 lending contracts open when I was looking at the on-chain analytics. So pretty wild. It caused quite some chaos with our XP scripts, but we've updated the XP scripts a little bit to handle that more graciously.
I'll say though, things went pretty smooth. I think, in my opinion.
Speaking of smooth, one complaint is you get that little micro lag for a second when there's a major spawn. Did anybody else experience that? I mean, it's not. I never really experienced it on my side. It seemed to run
every
pretty smooth.
time almost.
So it'd just be like a little shake, and then you're back in it, right?
Yeah, well, it's not like a lag like that. It's more like a little delay, and then like it takes a second to see the Alchemica as well.
Yeah. So that's like, and like currently we're spawning like 700 or so Alchemica at a time across the world. I think previously we had some higher spawn rates, and it was even more dramatic. But I think it's a double-edged sword, right? We can spawn more. So
hey, I like it when you spawn a bunch every 20 minutes or something. You guys got a bunch of extra bonuses going on right now.
Yeah. Well, funny thing, it's past the top of the hour here, and yet I still see spawning happening. So I thought the play drop was over, guys. What's going on?
Devs, do something. What's happening?
I'm curious,
preparing,
man. There's still Alchemica falling from the sky.
We are preparing a little surprise for the guys that have stuck in and are still playing here right at the end. Turns out we have a little bit of extra Alchemica just from some Alchemica that was reclaimed from bots or just was under allocated for some reason, for various reasons, or there were drops skipped. So we have a little bit of extra Alchemica that's going to be dropping here during the next about hour and a half during this hangout. So you can start, if you're not in the Gotchiverse at all yet, you definitely want to get in there. It's going to be pretty fun, I think. Looks like there's only about 2,000 people in right now, so it's a good time.
Yeah, we kept.
If you didn't get that, get yourself one more tile, or maybe get a little extra Alchemica to get that final altar.
Oh, yeah, this is cool. I mean, we are live streaming. Both have myself and I believe Zombie Shepherd Anthony is as well.
Yep.
So we'll be this will be recorded for historical purposes.
It's gonna be big. It might get pretty laggy though. So if you thought the 600 Alchemica lag was bad, it might get significantly worse during this, but the upside
dope,
is
though.
There's going to be a lot of Alchemica dropping.
Yeah, that sounds dope. I just like beating everybody else to the Alchemica. I don't even care. I just like picking it up.
Here it comes.
Everything came out and then went away.
Yeah, I think he's fixing something there. Gotta change our algorithm a bit.
Big smile turned into, oh shit.
Wait for it. So this will be happening every few minutes, and then there'll be a pause where we can, we definitely want to keep the conversation going. And oh, there it comes.
Wow, 10,000. That's a 10,000 plus spawn.
And of course, my cat wants to walk in front of the TV when it happens.
Oh man, this is great.
You doing something there?
Get my alpha. Ooh.
Well, all this alpha everywhere.
Oh, I'm reconnecting.
Overload.
Yeah, it's probably changing a lot of settings very quickly here.
Yeah, this is another stress test in the making in a way. We get to push the limits here. There were some ghost Alchemica I see being reported. I've got the same experience. But definitely picked up a bit. Rejoice, 10,600 Alchemica. Oh my gosh.
We
I'm
might
sorry.
overload the servers here with this mega drop. We'll see. This is a good stress test.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the most I've ever seen on screen at once. Some big chunks.
Hey, this is like Mickey D's. I'm loving it.
I haven't seen a lot of Keck though. I'm picking up a lot of alpha.
Yeah,
Just that
I'm
one
liking the alpha pickups because that's what we need right now for more tiles.
Yep. True, true. Oh,
Plus, I noticed that you guys had a lot more, alpha inside of the Citadel as well for like, just, compared to Keck. Overall.
mm.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Keck is there's like half of it, so the supply of Keck is like actually it's not half. It's 1/10 of. Oh, here we go again. It's 1/10 of of.
I like
FUD.
this, man. This is cool.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
It's by far so dope. Just trying to get away from everybody else.
Yeah.
I just got a big block of Keck. That was real nice.
Nice.
It would have been nice if you could have kicked everybody to maybe kick out most of the bots and then freaking let everybody back in real quick.
Yeah.
I actually like the fractional amounts that we switched to because it just makes getting that one Keck just feel a lot, like 10 times, literally 10 times better, you know?
Much more
Yeah,
dopamine
especially
this
when
way.
you beat somebody else to it, or like 3 guys are running around it and you pick it up. Dope. Definitely fun.
Ooh, here we go. Alchemica overload. Go, go, go. Yeah, this is how it feels like when it's on testnet.
If you guys want, I'm hanging out over by the north gate, so if you're in that area, make sure to say hi. I'm making my way that direction.
Okay.
I'd say definitely just go and find a place to pick up Alchemica.
At this point, you probably want to stay far away from me.
Yeah, I was at the north gate and I was like, oh, we're dropping? Bye.
Yeah, these.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's better to be on a road or outside of a road
I was
during the
liking the-
Alchemica drop?
I was liking the road just because if you found a nice spot that nobody was at, it was pretty easy to get it. But right now, I'm finding that it's better to just go somewhere,
Oh,
where
I
it's
see a
slowly.
big Keck. Oh, someone's gonna get it.
I
Yeah.
had a couple live streams where I did 3 players versus 1 player. Most Alchemica takes all. And the guys that would like road snipe, like the road snipers seem to be the ones that would always win.
Because you can move more distance with the road.
Those
So,
road
like,
collectors are savage, though.
Yeah.
They
You
zip
gotta be
around so
quicker.
fast.
And it's harder to grab it. You need more skill if you're gonna be on the road for sure.
I
You
think
need
the
better
best,
ping.
the best road snipers are the ones that are on the road but then jump off the road to get you.
Yep.
That's how you
Yep.
do it.
There's some strategy for sure.
Because
I
then you
practiced
get your
picking up
control
Ghost
back.
Alchemica. Yep, I just keep practicing picking up Ghost Alchemica every time. Gives me a little boost.
Which is great.
You guys had you guys had hinted at maybe potentially in the future having other alternative drops as well, like Matic and
Mhm.
possibly Ghost. Do you guys kind of know when we might be seeing that? Is that going to be for May, or is that like way kind of into the future kind of thing?
Yeah, we right now priority is to get the social text chat out, and then the big push to make sure everything is ready for uh, the channeling and then the altar. So I think I think it'll probably make its way into one of those releases. Definitely not the social release. We're going to be doing a lot of work on player verification to try and really ensure that the bots we make it even harder for them while making it easier for us. That's going to be one of the focuses of the social release. And then once the 18th comes around, uh, we'll, alchemical channeling will go live, and then uh, fairly shortly after we'll have harvesters. So at some point we will definitely be adding them. It's on the list. It's just it takes a little bit of time for setup with the like the delivery API, the Vortex, and also Gotchi lending. Because if we need to give sufficient heads up so people can uh, update their listings to include the new tokens. So quite
Yeah,
a
that's
few
good.
different moving pieces.
No, I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, I'm excited about the social aspect because I felt like that was kind of missing during this month, like being able to have a text chat. The bubbles were kind of a nice like addition, but like I think having the actual text chat is gonna just like make this that much more fun to actually be able to. It's just like a memeable thing, you know, like to have different text that you can put up, and it shows up above like your Gotchi's head essentially, right? Or no, sorry, it's in a scrolling chat, not
Yeah,
above
we're
your
gonna
head.
have like a chat,
Yeah, it's
little chat
the
box per district.
in a way, it's like the first content creation for the community, like in game. Like it's a very primitive one, but it's technically all content, right? So we're able to communicate, and I think some culture can start developing within the Gotchiverse around this, especially with the district chat. I love the idea of different neighborhoods having their own conversations going on.
And it's going to be kind of cool to see that world chat because I remember playing games like this previously. I bring up RuneScape a lot, but their world chat was always kind of interesting to read. It was like a tabloid of what's going on, right? Maybe there's some drama. It could be, Gotchiverse related or not Gotchiverse related, but it was always it was entertaining. It made for an entertaining read for the most part. You got trolls every now and then, but
Yeah, in between, picking up Alchemica, or especially here soon, you'll be maintaining your parcels. You definitely got to have some conversation going on. And Discord's great, but it'll be nice to have something in game. And the other important part is as we do launch it, like we need to have a conversation in the DAO and feedback on what's working, what's not, and hopefully it just gets better and better over time. This is really just the first iteration, the kind of MVP.
I was really interested in how walls are exactly going to work.
Yeah, and walls are going to be really important. You're thinking about protecting your parcel, right? All that channeling. Uh,
Yep.
yeah,
So you're
it'll
going to
be.
be able to upgrade them. So does that mean like other gotchas are going to be able to knock them down and come in? Like are you going to be able to keep them out pretty good if you got them fully upgraded?
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely gonna take some time to knock those walls down. Like a level 9 wall will definitely provide longer lasting protection than a level 1.
That's nice.
will be very useful during great battles too. You'll be
Yep.
glad to get some good walls.
So will you be able to exit out of your wall, but you won't? Other gotchis won't be able to enter into your walls.
Yep.
Dope.
Yeah, we were thinking like having doorways and stuff, but they're ghosts, so
Just
they can just fly through walls.
yep. You can go out of it, but nobody can come in. That's dope. And
Yeah.
that's gonna do a lot for like different people that are by those deposits too. So I think that's gonna help people cordon off a lot of areas. So definitely owning a few, a few boost parcels would be very nice.
I've been I've been talking to some guilds who own large pieces of land, and what they're focused on right now is getting the altars up first, but also if there's going to be Alchemica when you channel getting kind of spread all over in a really wide radius. I hear a lot of them talking about how they might just buy a bunch of Alchemica and upgrade their altars to kind of reduce the spillage a little bit, and then also link all their larger parcels together and create this like a fence all the way around a perimeter, and
Yep.
maybe hopefully that kind of reduces some of that leakage.
Yeah, I was gonna
It'll
say
do
with
two.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say with that, like when you spill over with those walls, you won't even be able to get to that Alchemica that's spilling over into other people's lands.
Exactly. So it does two things. Having like an enclosed parcel will if you get whatever spillage of your Alchemica you get in your parcel, uh it'll keep it for you, and you'll also be getting other people's Alchemica dropped into your parcel, and other people won't be able to get it. So there's kind of two big advantages there.
I
It's like
really like that. I was looking forward to that piece of the Gotchi Bible, and that definitely is really exciting. Especially kind of puts a little more value on tech properties where you have single access to tech bubble ups. I mean that's 12.5% of the overall Alchemica.
Yeah, I always like the metaphor for me is like fishing nets. Like you want to get a bigger net, catch more fish.
Definitely, you need the nice fish too, like Keka and Alpha. Definitely like the purple fish. The blue fish are getting worth more now too with the tiles and everything.
The market is so interesting. Like I feel like we're creating a case study in tokenomics that like people could write like a year into this, people could write like their thesis on these four tokens, because they're similar, but they do have like different use cases and different tokenomics, but they're all kind of part of the same family. And the market is valuing them very differently, um, like just because of those different tokenomics. Which it's interesting that FUD recently overtook FOMO. I mean, the obviously the difference isn't big. Still very, very early. We're talking $70,000 worth of market cap here, but it is just interesting that somehow FUD beat out FOMO in this initial race, and Keck and Alpha are kind of where I expected. But
Well, that's what I
FUD
said is
is
somebody's going to buy it all up in the, towards the end in order to control it and then, kind of boost up the tokenomics.
yeah, yeah. Who's going to be cornering the alpha market? Or it's
Yeah,
definitely very
definitely.
interesting. We're still
If I
so early.
wasn't
There's
all in,
there's
I would have tried to corner it.
oh,
Be
Dr. Rodney, that's
interesting.
awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be interesting to see, as the Dex comes out, how the Alchemica like price discovery happens. Like is Alchemica gonna find a more stable price point? Is it gonna be a little less volatile? Yeah, I think it's normal for volatility, right? With something like this, it's new, it's growing,
Mhm.
people are still acquiring it. There isn't a whole lot of liquidity, I guess, yet. So maybe I'm thinking,
Yeah.
my mind, once the Dex comes out and people can actually, stake for glitter, and we see a lot of Ghost make its way over there, maybe that will add some price stability to it. Like, what's your guys' take on that?
Yeah, I think volatility is pretty much, unless it's a token like Ghost that has that's partly a stable coin, you're always going to have a sizable amount of volatility. Even with something like Bitcoin, you got billions of dollars sloshing in and out of it every day. So volatility is just part of the market. It's always going to be there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
fair
main
enough.
thing with these tokens is to create use case. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what you guys are doing.
Yeah, the altar and the golden tile experiment was, I think it was very successful. very definitely an interesting approach to it, and I think it'll just be cool to see more and more use cases developed by us and the community over the next years on use cases for these Alchemica and for Ghost.
I'm interested to see what the value of the golden altar will be after
Me too.
you can't mint them anymore.
Right. Get like what's the value of an altar gonna be in 10 years or
Yeah,
just or even just 1 year?
it could be $1 million. One could go for $1 million. You never know.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, now when you take a golden altar down, ooh, here's some more Alchemica. When you take an altar down, do you burn it? Like after you put it onto a property, and like, can you destroy it as well?
so if you put it on, you can't take it off without it'll basically burn the NFT.
Okay,
That's
that's what I'm
true of
saying.
all
So
the
eventually,
installations.
depending on what people do, some of these might actually be burned.
Yeah, exactly.
I was
There
waiting.
it's a
I was gonna.
deflationary supply.
I've been waiting a while for this Alchemica drop again. I wasn't ready for it.
It's back. Another mega drop. Devs did something. That'd be a cool shirt. Devs did something.
Yeah, I'm in an area where there's just lots of people. This guy's gonna get it. It's a big one. This area is pretty nice.
I feel like we're gonna see a lot of people head into Aavegotchi here in the next little bit as we see. I think No Future actually made a good point the other day when we were talking. Um, you can show people this and show them, all right, I'm collecting Alchemica. These are tokens. They're worth real money, but they're also a resource. You can kind of build things how you would in like Clash of Clans, and it instantly just like clicks with people. Whereas before, it took a lot more explaining on like what an Aavegotchi was, and now it's kind of like there's this entry point for people to, something that'll initially catch their attention, and then we can take them down the rabbit hole. So it's like it's been really nice being able to show friends and family, like, hey, look, rent this Aavegotchi. I'll rent it to you for whatever, and go around and just collect this stuff and tell me what you think. And the responses have been pretty great so far. So it's been really good for that.
Yeah, I think that's been a big part of this. Was we were always so excited to finally get to the Gotchiverse part of the roadmap because we knew that would be this whole new onboarding mechanism, and it would serve a very good purpose in and of itself, but it would also be great for onboarding.
I think that all the hacks and the letdowns by other devs and different games is going to lead to a lot of overflow of people with nowhere to go, with no security, and they're all going to come here. And there's just going to be an influx of players because of all the letdowns in the rest of the gaming world on DeFi.
Yeah, reputation's everything, a good foundation, and knock on wood, we've had a very great run for over a year and a half now, so it kind of speaks for itself. And we just, if we can continue to iterate on top of this Gotchiverse, it's going to be a full-fledged game here very, very soon.
Definitely, and then once it goes mobile, it's going to be even bigger. Like look at what Clash of Clans did, and you didn't get to make money. I played it myself.
Mobile is going to be the floodgates will open up. A lot of the scholars that we've talked to, they have to go to an internet cafe or they have to borrow a friend's computer to play Aavegotchi. They'll still do it, because they see the earning potential of it. But I think once mobile comes out, we really, I think, are going to kick it up a notch.
Yeah, and right now where we are, there's almost like no hurry in a weird way. Like, of course, we want everybody to be able to play, but it's like the stress testing of having what 4,000 players live at any given moment, the bot wars. There's like all this stuff to work out before we crank it to that level. But yeah, absolutely. Once we do, it's just a whole blue ocean that hasn't been approached yet.
I think around the scholars, and you know, just new people in general joining the game, the biggest thing that we can do for them is you know, just kind of educate them on what these assets are, like as assets, not just they understand them as what you can do with them to play and collect Alchemica, but we can you know, in this little period of the social and the next rollout, I think that's something that I've had on my mind is how can we help these scholars realize the potential of this Alchemica, because what they're doing right now, and you know, some of them maybe need the money, but others are they're selling it on the market for what they can get for it, not realizing that there is actually a future potential for Alchemica, and there's a big use case for Alchemica. Many blockchain games, you're just farming a token until the game dies, and then you move on to the next one. It's
Yeah.
kind of like some blockchain games have become like the new like decks, like from last summer. Like there was so many different dexes coming out, and or like a DeFi farming, like a farming game, and then you would just farm and go to the next one. But you know, I think we can help them realize the potential of what this is. Like, I was talking to one of the scholars who rents my Aavegotchis the other day, and he didn't really know what a portal was. Like, he didn't realize Aavegotchis have to. There's like a process to getting one from a portal and summoning it. And you know, we did a live portal opening and let a bunch of them watch, and they're really quite amazed. Like, they're already amazed that they could collect all this Alchemica, but then we showed them this, and they're like, holy, like, you know, this game goes deep. You know, there's layers to this.
I think the land and the channeling and the harvesters and that whole gameplay will make it much more apparent to like new players that there's an entire ecosystem outside of just picking up these tokens. They're gonna look at all the harvesters pumping in and be like, how can I get these harvesters working for me? Oh, I just need a plot of land. I need this humble parcel that hasn't been opened yet. I can get it for 80 ghost, and they'll get one of those and set it up and get their like a level 1 harvester, and just it'll be a great entry point for them. And it's like
Doctor,
if they're working with like a gotcha gang with a scholar is helping you empty your reservoir every day. Eventually they might just be like, why am I helping this guy and getting a 30% cut? I'm just gonna go get my own land. It's not that expensive. And so that'll be a great endpoint.
yeah, exactly. I love this idea of a circular economy, and you know, someone coming in here with no Aavegotchi and being able to like get one just through gameplay is going to be pretty amazing to see. Yeah. Um, I was gonna say we have an artist in the Aavegotchi community, Rigo J Mortis. He's done the Aavegotchi self portraits that you guys might have seen around. They're like those AI kind of not AI generated, but randomly generated Aavegotchis that look kind of interesting. You know, they're each kind of unique. And he didn't have an Aavegotchi coming into this, but what he did is he started creating this content. You know, he created this artwork around Aavegotchis, and he was able to sell a bunch of these at, you know, 30 goes to piece. And he was able to purchase his first Aavegotchi through creating content for Aavegotchi. So I thought that was really cool.
Do you think anybody else also made enough Alchemica to, you know, buy Gotchi?
I mean, I'd be curious to know how much Alchemica like you would need to buy one, like in terms of FUD, right? Like it'd be a fair bit. Yeah, see, Tommy Gotchi has just posted actually one of the self portraits there, and yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I have one too, actually. I'll try and share it.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty cool.
It's my Twitter PFP.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool art emerging on top of Aavegotchi. It's pretty neat
Here, I'll
stuff.
post mine in the chat. That's the one I got. It's very sinister looking Aavegotchi.
That one's pretty spooky. That's a dark gotchi.
You could tell this Aavegotchi. The whole idea behind the self portraits series was like, this is what Aavegotchis would paint themselves as if they did a self portrait. So So, you know, some of these Aavegotchis were probably feeling a certain way when they were, you know, creating these.
How did they mouth like? How did these mouths get created like this? 'Cause some of them look almost like vampire teeth. Or
Yeah,
pretty,
mine's got a zombie
pretty
mouth.
spooky. Is that like a trait, or is that these are all
Yeah.
randomly
No,
generated, right?
no.
So the way he does it, I believe he creates his artwork in like layers and then runs the layers through an algorithm to create like like a randomly generated Aavegotchi with all the different layers.
That's awesome. What's the one that it looks like a disco ball, Dr. Wagme? That's yours. What collateral is that?
I believe there's different rarities. There's like and I think they go after the Alchemica types. So I think there's like an alpha, FOMO, you know, a FUD, Keck.
Oh, Z-Fi got one of those spooky ones. I like the spooky ones. That one doesn't even look like a gotchi. It just looks like a haunted house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some very abstract ones in the collection too. Ooh, I like that one, Webb. I like Webb's Gotchi. That's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see as we get more artwork in the Gotchiverse, because there have been a lot of creatives kind of curious about what they can do in Aavegotchi, and it's like, you know, Gotchiverse is your oyster. You can make whatever you want as long as it's, you know, reasonably appropriate. It's people are gonna love it.
Yeah, so I got a new computer and I got in the Gotchiverse with it, and this thing was so fast that I was flagged as a bot within an hour. And it was great. I felt I was laughing about it. So I go to the type forum and I'm like, hey man, it's Anthony. I'm totally not a bot. Like, I'm writing a rap song about how much I hate bots. And I was like unbotted within 10 minutes. It was cool.
Yeah, we've had over, let's see, the latest count here is 2,269 bot appeals in our form here. And out of a lot of those, I mean, we unbanned the vast majority, but there are definitely some that are just people kind of trolling.
Yeah, I saw everybody around me disappearing, and I was like, uh-oh, something's happening. And then, boom, I was flagged. I was like, okay, I'm in a bad spot.
So I noticed you guys were highlighting the bots in red. Is there like you know, how's that system kind of identifying bots in the Gotchiverse right now?
Yeah, I guess it's fine to probably talk about it publicly at this point, because we are gonna make some changes over the next couple weeks. But basically, it's a combination of on-chain analysis, basically looking at your wallet, and a lot of the new players coming in they have like literally 2 transactions in their wallet. Super sketchy. So we look for if you're using like a new wallet that's never been in our game before, we say, okay, how many transactions have you done? Probably you've only done 3 transactions. Okay, what was the latest transaction you did? What was the time? Oh, it was 1 hour ago. Okay, who funded your account? Oh, you got funded by a known banned account, someone who's already been banned before. Auto ban. And you know that does catch a lot of people. They pretty much I don't know the numbers on that exactly, but that one did catch a lot. And that one is happening before they even get into the game. They basically just get shadow banned, for good reason, and they can appeal it if they want. But we'll have to look. Sometimes the banned wallet that got them banned was also on the bot appeal list, so we go back and look and and see, okay, if we unban that one, we also need to unban this one. So it's a bit of a process. And then the other one, the one that probably caused the most false positives, is we are using the Google reCAPTCHA. We enabled that, and that is basically, it's a black box of some algorithm that Google has that determines the score of the device that's connecting, and it gives you a score from 0.1 all the way up to 0.9. 0.1 is the lowest. It's like basically this is a bot. 0.9 is the highest, which is it's saying that you're a human. And so if you connect it on a new device, it's probably going to just flag you as 0.1 because it has very little information about that account, and it's going to assume that you're a bot. And we don't have there's another part of the reCAPTCHA, which is like the challenge. So on some sites, if you get flagged as a 0.1, that site will then go back and use a reCAPTCHA for what's called a challenge, and that's when you have to like identify the airplane or the whatever. We did not enable that because that actually makes it easier for the botters to get around the algorithm, and so we just let it go. And the bot takes about 7 days on average, from what they've said in the docs, to basically figure out what is a human and what is a bot, and it's not 100% accurate. So we're using it as a first line of defense, but we're also going to be adding in more features over the next couple weeks to allow people to basically appeal in a more automated way. Probably link up your Discord so we can get all your information about like what your history in Discord is, and that will help a lot with kind of sussing out who the actual bots are and who are actually just people who are in the Discord and were flagged wrongly.
That's cool. It sounds like it's like a tiered approach. It's like catching the bots with a net, and the net gets harder to get out of every time.
Yep. Yeah, the on-chain analysis stuff was really interesting because there's some really cool queries you can do with BitQuery. It's a nice software. It's a service. It's a GraphQL API. You can do all sorts of really creative queries and see all the different inflows and outflows of funds on the blockchain. So we were using that a lot. That one's really useful. But yeah, you need the hardest part is knowing who the bad guys are. Because if we identify the wrong addresses as bad guys, then we have bad data, and that bad data ends up causing more and more false positives.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I guess it's better to be take a measured approach to that and try and catch the ones that are actually bots. Maybe some get through, but like you're saying before, it kind of gets harder every time with every iteration to slip through the cracks. But do you think this is going to be a like an ongoing battle in the Gotchiverse between bots and real Gotchis?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be like new ways they come up with, but at some point we also have like a human flagging system that you can flag a bot that you see, and that will also help a lot, I think. New
Oh yeah,
Alchemica spawn, guys.
that was a pretty fat spawn. I'm still picking up Alchemica. If there's another one, oh dang. We got a question from Transistor. He's asking. He's saying it's challenging to plan an estate now because not all the roads. He's referring to the alleys are not on the map yet. Are there going to be some alleys that show up between parcels? They're going to be like these smaller
Yeah.
roads.
There are alleys, but we discussed that, and technically what's written there is not incorrect. Alleys are not roads, and so they will not be part of the estate planning. So even if there's an alley, you'll still be able to build over it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like it won't prevent you from creating the estate. So I wouldn't worry too much about the alleys.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I like how you guys integrated the fact that you can box Alchemica in, and I'm interested to see like what arrangements come out of that, how people manage to box in some Alchemica. You know, like the boosts, I should say, the Alchemica
Yeah,
boosts.
the boost will definitely be a big deal with that, and not only that, but you'll be able to kind of cordon everything off. But I noticed that a lot of alleys have access to the really big deposits. I noticed the blue that surrounds the second wall, there's an access point at least on one side of every gateway. So been kind of checking that out.
Yeah, the Alchemica, like the bubble up game is going to be really interesting. Once we are able to have more details about the bubble ups, I think it will be very fun to see guilds or large players kind of encircling different Alchemica points.
Yeah, definitely be dope with the bubble ups. Plus, you guys said that 12.5% will be allotted to bubble ups, right?
I have to look at I have to go back and look at the tokenomics of it. I think that's in chapter 2. I don't know if 12.5 might be, that sounds high, but there definitely is an allocation for that,
It
for
might be
the
high.
bubble up in the gameplay part.
Yeah, definitely.
So then,
saw
okay,
someone.
so the next 2 weeks we're gonna have the social aspect, but after that we got the actual full land release. Maybe we can kind of touch on that a little bit because I'm pretty excited to actually interact with my own parcels for the first time.
Yeah,
Are all
so
the
it's
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
it'll still be pretty limited. In May 18th launch, it'll just be basically you can equip your tile, you can equip your altar, and you can do alchemical channeling with it. The harvesters and reservoirs will still be coming a little bit later. They're pretty much ready on chain, but it's quite a bit of a process of UI and UX to make sure that all that is ready, like the equipping and de-equipping, making sure people don't accidentally unequip something that they didn't realize it was going to get burned, and all sorts of little edge cases.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think people sound like I'd be pretty upset if I lost a reservoir or something and it had Alchemica already in it, or I wasn't able
Well,
to
you
empty
want
it out.
yeah, you won't be able to do that. It's more for oh, you have your level 9 golden altar that you've upgraded.
Whoops.
Yeah, I accidentally yeah, remove that. Probably wouldn't be too happy.
Yeah, I could see that. But it's we're close. Like, how long have we waited for this, right? We've been all patiently waiting, and I think we're getting close now to the point where we can really start doing stuff to our own parcels. Even if it starts with a golden tile, get an altar on there, do some channeling. Will we be able to upgrade the altars as soon as they're planted on our parcels? We can start upgrading their levels.
Yeah, that should work without any issue.
I mean, that makes me wonder, right? How many people are gonna just say, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm not gonna wait to collect Alchemica and upgrade my altar. I'm just gonna go to the market and buy.
I don't
I'm
know,
gonna
man.
buy the Alchemica, get it to level 9. We're all degens, right? We've seen what happens with our auctions and our raffles and stuff. I could see this behavior, the animal spirits coming out, and someone just spending all their Alchemica on the first day, but buying up as much as they can, get to level 9. I guess there's that time factor too, so they'd have to wait still
Yeah.
because there's no glitter.
Yeah. There's no glitter. It'll take quite a while, which is I think it's good. It's there is a certain element of time, and you will have to wait. So you'll be able to, I don't know what level you'll be able to get, probably like level 3 or 4, I guess, by the time well, we are aiming to have glitter out in a reasonable time as well. Uh haven't made any official announcements about the timing of that yet, but I would say it's fairly likely that we can have glitter out at or around the May 18th launch. So you could theoretically, if you had enough glitter and you had enough Alchemica, get all the way up to like a level well, even there won't even be enough glitter out there probably to get rid of all the blocks. So still won't be possible to have like a level 9 golden altar by May 19th. But there will be kind of an arms race for sure. But I think the main thing holding that back is the amount of liquidity on QuickSwap, but glitter will help a lot with that as well. So it's all kind of linked together.
I love the idea of tokenized time, because that's
Mhm.
kind of what glitter is. It's tokenized time. And I remember playing games like, Clash of Clans or Boom Beach or, these mobile, like build your base kind of games. And I would end up paying for the jewels or crystals or whatever for the speed ups. I remember
Yeah.
spending hundreds of dollars on that. But now it's like we've actually created a market amongst ourselves between players for this instead of paying a centralized game studio for it.
Yeah, I think it's one of our most interesting innovations. I think we're probably the first protocol to do this, first blockchain game to have this kind of tokenized time coin. It's not anything really new in terms of like gaming. There's plenty of games that do it, but the fact that you don't have to buy it, you can earn it by LPing, I think is definitely an innovation.
And so I think there's a market, there's a cap on how much glitter can be produced, right? I can't remember what it was.
The
There's a
cap
large
is
amount.
it's 1 trillion. The total cap of glitter token is 1 trillion. And we calculated that by basically looking at what the most rational player, if they played the game in a purely rational manner over the entire game, the entire 420,069 parcels, and believe it was if they spent glitter to increase every installation as fast as they could, how much glitter would be needed. And it came out to like 1.6 trillion, I think. And so we said, well, we probably don't need that much because not everyone's gonna spend all their glitter on every installation to upgrade it as fast as possible, and not everyone's gonna play it in a purely rational manner. So we just lopped off the 6 and came out with a clean 1 trillion.
I like it. And that's going to be over a long period of time too. I believe there's a halving mechanism too, which I thought was really interesting.
Um, yeah, they have to look at the tokenomics halving mechanism.
Plus, everything gets burned as well, right? Which makes everything a depleting supply.
Right, that is one part is so the glitter token, when you use it, it is going to just get sent to the burn address. It's not going to go anywhere else. It's not like Alchemica where part of it goes to like the Pixelcraft or the DAO. It'll just get burned when you spend it to upgrade. Yeah, you are right about the halving. Yeah, you're talking about basically the vesting schedule for it. Yeah. There will
Yeah.
be 10% in the first year and then the remainder distributed over 30 years. Yeah.
I really like the tokenomics you guys came up with all this, the burning, the Alchemica recircling back into Pixelcraft to build more things. I just think that all the way around, it's really good.
I've been thinking about Pixelcraft Square lately. I'm kind of wondering what sorts of experiences we might expect. Um, is it
Definitely.
is it too early to talk about that, or?
Yeah, I bought a couple parcels in there, so hopefully some cool stuff, right?
I've been saying internally I would love to put like a mini game where you can kind of fight or do some PvP in the Citadel in Pixelcraft Square. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I think it'd be pretty fun. Because we don't really have the arena is in the grid, the real arena, but we could have some mini game areas within Pixelcraft Square.
Where the
I mean,
battling is
I mean, I keep going back to this idea of having maybe some liquidators chained up or something, but I think it would be cool to kind of integrate that because like we're expecting liquidators eventually, but it's like, what if part of the lore was like, we captured these liquidators a
POWs.
long time ago, and they're just like our practice
We're gonna have
liquidators.
dungeons though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the grid we'll have some dungeons in the grid that they'll kind of be off the world experiences. They won't be on the world surface.
Hefe can tie up some liquidators.
That's POW liquidators. It's pretty funny.
50 Shades of Gotchi.
Well, I was just thinking more like with the lasso and like a rodeo, but yeah, that's another way of thinking about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those experiences. I've been talking to some of the guys who are creating the Gotchi games in the arcade, and I think it'll be exciting to see when that fully gets integrated into the Gotchiverse somehow, and the arcade is part of the gameplay as well.
Yep.
You guys, I saw an image a while ago, and it was kind of like this gaming cartridge. I don't know where it came from, but do you think that could be a possibility? Like if there's like a gaming cartridge NFT, and maybe you need
Yeah, we
that to play
actually
a certain game.
we've spent a little bit of dev time building that out, and I think the contract is. I personally have not reviewed it yet thoroughly, but I know that we did work on that, and the idea with the cartridge is basically each game. It's kind of like a fundraising mechanism for a game. So you could, as a mini game developer, you could basically sell cartridges to players, and the cartridges would come with a certain amount of like playing time. I just got some kick, nice, and that playing time would be elapsed while you're playing the game. And when you're not playing the game, the idea is that it would not go down, which is kind of hard to do on chain. So it is one of the things I think we are working on. But yeah, so the idea is that you could buy one of these cartridges, and owning the cartridge would give you ability to play the game. And as you're playing it, the time that you've paid for would go down in the cartridge. And it's up to the minigame developer about how much time they want to give away in the initial cartridge. Do they want to give 30 days of time, or is it unlimited? That would be up to them. So it's a pretty interesting way of funding like a mini game development.
That's such a great idea. That's even more than what I was thinking. And it's going to be a great opportunity to incentivize people to make these mini games, and make new ones even. Because we have a pretty good arsenal of games right now, just with the grassroots Aavegotchi devs creating this stuff. But it'd be interesting to see once there's a system implemented in place, if there's some indie game studios that go, hey, we might want to develop a game here. There might be something here for us to do. And like use the cartridge as a way of do some fundraising for it.
Yep.
That's some alpha right there, in my opinion.
That's a bit of alpha for sure. Yeah, it's just there's so many other things happening. It hasn't really been a full priority of the team yet, but the contract is pretty ready. I believe it's on the Aavegotchi namespace of GitHub. I'm distracted picking up alpha tokens here.
Me too.
A lot of alpha in this hangout in many ways.
The sea of blue.
Yeah.
More than usual.
Get ready to mint some more tiles.
Mm-hmm.
So the tiles are heavy on the alpha, right?
Yep. You got 4 more days for the tiles. The tiles will the first tile will expire on the 4th at 2 p.m. UTC. And we actually are pushing an upgrade to the contract that it'll automatically deprecate it or make it expire. We don't even have to do anything. It's going to do that automatically, which is kind of nice. We don't have to. So when we add the new tile, we can give it or the installation, we can give it a deprecate time, and it will automatically deprecate when it gets to that certain timestamp. It's like a quality of life thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, speaking of quality of life, I know you guys were talking about the petting operator eventually being rolled out. I
A
think that's
lending
going to be
operator.
lending operator. Sorry,
Mhm.
that might bring off the workload on some of these guys doing it manually with
Mm.
like 200 gotchis. That's going to
Yeah,
be
it's a
nice
lot
for
of
them.
work.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we
underestimated.
will. We'll definitely be putting that out. Most likely, the contract side will be live definitely before the 18th. And then the UI side, we'll try to have something useful that can be used.
That'll bring down the cost of the Matic too, right? I mean, pretty
Yeah,
much you'll be able to do it all at once. So
that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
it'll
I
be.
see
I mean,
the
there's still a limit on how many you can cancel at a time.
yeah, but still, like I mean, just the amount of Matic I see go down. I know it's not a lot of Matic, but still quite a bit when you have to do each one singly to bring them out and then put them back in.
Yeah. Why we are typically number 3 or 4 on the gas guzzler. We've burned a lot of Matic in the last month.
That's good for the Matic holders.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see this announcement by Polygon for the Supernets? Like, I found that
Oh yeah.
really interesting, and the potential of that with what we could do with it with Aavegotchi eventually. Maybe we have our own Supernet. That'd be kind
Yeah,
of cool.
we had a great call. I was not on the call. That was Golden Cross had a great call with the head of basically that team leading the Supernets.
Yeah, we kind of went through the whole process and what it really takes to implement it and the requirements and the benefits and risks. So a little bit of everything. I was like, we don't want a Ronin chain situation. We're not going to go that route. But
100%.
SuperNet is very, very cool because it's kind of best of both worlds in some sense. But there's definitely some trade-offs. I mean, you get a little less decentralization for sure if you're relying on basically a curated list of validators and an upper limit to how many validators you can eventually increase to. It's still in the hundreds, but so it's not like EOS and 21 validators, but it is a bit of a trade-off.
I was gonna say, so long as it's more than 5 validators, I think we'll be doing okay.
Yeah, and 3 of them ain't the same.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I think it's really interesting. It'd be cool to see that. And a guy on Twitter actually around that time had made a really good point that you guys are putting so much time and effort into developing the game. Developing a game in your own blockchain and then keeping an eye on that blockchain for integrity. It's going to take up a lot of bandwidth, and maybe you'll have
Oh
to
yeah.
sacrifice some bandwidth you'd be putting into the game.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern because they have a couple ways to go about it. There's the edge, the Polygon edge is the more custom of the two. You're really bootstrapping your own blockchain at that point, sourcing your own validators, um, less, a lot more flexibility in terms of decentralization and the decisions to make. But you're running your own blockchain at that point, and that's when I was kind of like, yeah, we don't want to go Ronin route because we have other stuff to do and.
Do you guys think that there'd be a way to insure Aavegotchi in the future? Like, I know Title does that, and I'm not sure exactly what that means, but
Yeah, I mean, there's always financial insurance, but really the damage would already be done in terms of, there's no way to really prevent the risks of not running a blockchain properly. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very interesting. We're in that kind of exploratory stage, but the Supernet still has to demonstrate what the upside is. We're already running so well on the main Polygon net right now, the public one. Um, for example, to do that, you need to still get your own block explorer. You need to overcome the big point of failure, which is even if the chain's running well, you still need bridges that are super secure. And you need to get your bridges and migrate all that liquidity. Um, so you're literally like transporting a whole economy we've built that has lots of different facets, quite literally on the diamond. So
Well,
it could be worth it, but it might also just be not worth it. At
there
least at
might
this.
be something better in the future though as well on Polygon. They got a lot of different things coming out in the future and a lot of different things that are going to get rolled out, which also might actually lighten up the POS chain to run better on it by, just run better what we have now.
Yeah, I think Polygon they're looking at the top gas guzzlers and they're definitely like hoping some of them can offload that to some Supernets, and I think that's a fair ask. But it's definitely a long-term project, and yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's kind of like a later thing, It's like I think we're doing okay. Like I know the days of a pet for 2 gwei, I think are gone. But even at these rates right now, it's really not that expensive to do, to operate in Aavegotchi.
Yeah. Things really do happen fast though. So, you never know, especially with blockchain crypto, things happen fast, security advances, different things, they've been happening quite quickly lately.
Yeah, if we can line up the incentives and it all kind of works. There's other pieces we can't control too, like for example, the services that can also need to deploy, like Chainlink VRF. You would want that to deploy on our SuperNet, and I'm sure that will be available, but it's not today. Some SuperNets are already on the way, or they told me they're already live. I don't know in what form because these services are quite limited right now, but. I got the impression Chainlink VRF is a little ways off before that could be deployed on a SuperNet. Yeah, let's just take over Polygon public chain. Everybody else can. Let's just do
It
that.
is now our chain. We're claiming it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that version of reality more.
Look at me. We're the validators now.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that Captain Phillips meme, right? I'm the
Yep.
pirate now, or I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
So there was a recent proposal that passed in the DAO. I've been keeping an eye on it. I think it was a SIG prop for the traits. The traits have been kind of switched up now to be more flexible, right? Maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
When there was a lot of discussion around it, some very galaxy brain level discussion that I wasn't able to fully digest. But the conclusion was very, very. I was pleased with it. I think it was something everybody can be happy with. With the let me see if I can pull up the traits here. But I believe it's basically, for example, each trait has a uh, kind of like a genre, or like like a high energy Aavegotchi now is going to have high action points, and a low energy Aavegotchi is going to have high health points, like HP. I thought that was really one of the more interesting ones that really stood out, because before we were saying movement versus carry speed or carrying capacity, but now that's kind of been taken out of the equation, and it seems like maybe the wearables are going to actually play a bigger part in some of that stuff, right?
Yeah, the wearables will also augment those various traits, as we saw now in chapter 4. And yeah, we need to go back probably and update chapter 3, I think it is, that has the wearables. The Gotchi traits and how those are done. I think that's chapter 2 actually. We'll get that updated, so that's up to date for everyone.
Will there be anything to do with like the low 300 gotchis? You know, like will there be anything special about them?
No, this was kind of a core discussion that the community had, which was, do we want to have high BRS gotchis have some sort of benefit in the game, or do we want all gotchis to kind of play on a equal level, but differently? So the original proposal was kind of more of the latter, where all gotchis were good in a certain way, but they also had nerfs the other direction. So if you wanted, faster movement speed, you could pick up less Alchemica. And so that really didn't give any sort of buff to the higher BRS, because as your BRS went up, you were losing on the other side. And so in the final proposal by the DAO, they removed the nerf, and there's a couple extra benefits for high BRS. I think one of them was carrying capacity. So now if you're playing with like a 350 BRS gotchi, it is like objectively an inferior gotchi to a 570 gotchi, because the stats are not moved as to the extreme as a 580 would be. And I think, that's I don't think there's a perfect answer, but it is, I think it just speaks to the community's desire to ensure that the gotchis that are performing well in rarity farming and we've had this meme of, high BRS, that will be respected in the Gotchiverse as well.
As it should, I think. Those high BRS gotchis right now are not very cheap. Like people are paying a significant amount for those, and I see the utility behind those stats. So if I think you were saying traits in the middle, like what are traits in the middle going to behave like? Is a gotchi with mostly common traits not really going to be good at a whole lot, or will they kind of be okay at everything?
Yeah, they'll still be playable. They're not going to be like unplayable. They won't be terrible. They just won't be as powerful as a higher BRS gotchi would be.
Yeah,
So,
fair
like
enough. Because I guess the traits will be more polarized in that sense.
Mhm. Yeah, they're like the average gotchi, your average 400 BRS or 350 BRS. It'll still be perfectly playable if you just wanna go and empty your reservoir every day. You're not really concerned about the grid, then it'll be fine. But if you want to go out and start doing dungeons and fighting liquidators, then yeah, your gotchi might be cannon fodder. It might not be a tank.
Yeah, I see. Like they're kind of like the worker bees of the Gotchiverse. They don't have
Mhm.
very many defenses, but they function. They have a function in the Gotchiverse, and maybe those are the ones that are the reservoir emptiers or the more safer tasks, and maybe they stay within the walls of the Citadel, as
Mhm.
opposed to being the explorer gotchis that might have to be fully decked out in wearables, high PRS, and maybe some savage weapons to bring along with them.
Yep.
I like it. So I'm looking at the traits right now, and so we just talked about some of that, the BRS. Maybe we can touch on like the AP capacity and kind of what that really means for people who are maybe hearing about this for the first time.
Yeah, sure. Also, I think quick PSA. I believe hardcore. I think you're on the call. Is there going to be a DAO call tomorrow at the same time as today? Is that going to be scheduled for this week? Just as we're getting into DAO topics, if you guys are interested in the governance process, we are going to be starting a weekly call for the DAO specific to talk about various DAO things like the DTF, or there's like proposals on standard operating procedures for the DAO and various all the various proposals that are open. So definitely it's going to be a weekly recurring meeting similar to the Hangout, but it's going to be focused on the DAO specifically.
That's a great idea. And maybe we can figure out a way to cover it as well and get the word out, because I think DAO governance is so important to what we're doing, but it's something that oftentimes can get overlooked when there's so many shiny things happening in the Gotchiverse.
Yeah, it might be. Maybe we could offer some XP for it. Maybe we'll have to think about that. So what was the question again? It was about the traits.
Oh, yes. So we were gonna maybe touch on the AP capacity, maybe what that means for high energy Aavegotchis.
Yeah, so AP is going to be kind of a catch-all for when you attack or when you do various actions within the Gotchiverse, like teleporting. Could even be something as simple as like opening a door, or basically any substantial action. And so you'll have this action points meter below your health meter. So right now, if you go to the Gotchiverse, you have the purple, kind of purplish bar. There will be another meter, which is the AP meter, that'll be under that. And so HP is primarily for health points, but also for stamina. So one thing that doesn't really exist yet, but what will exist is you will be able to hold down Shift key in the Gotchiverse, and it'll basically move your Gotchi. Your Gotchi will start sprinting. It'll just start moving faster. And that process, it won't be something you can hold for like 20 minutes. It'll drain your HP down to a certain level, and then it'll turn off. But that's what the HP will do. Then AP, it'll be similar. If you're basically every attack you do, it's gonna drain your AP a little bit, and how much it gets drained will depend on the strength of the weapon, like basically how much damage you're doing.
So with
That's
with the HP, like let's say I do a long sprint and maybe I'm out in the grid and I
Yeah.
drop my HP down, and then I have to battle a liquidator or something. Now, am I gonna have less health points? Like, will I be able to get killed a lot quicker because I was kind of sprinting before that, or
Yeah.
is that? Oh, yeah, okay.
You're gonna want to have a couple potions on you. So if you're sprinting in the grid, like you better be well equipped to handle anything you encounter out there. But we are gonna make it so you can't sprint. It'll probably be 50% HP. Like if you go under 50% HP, the sprint's gonna turn off. We're not gonna let you sprint until you get down to 0.
Yeah, because it's almost like you're out of breath, right? And now you have to fight a liquidator, so it's like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, that's really cool. I like that. That gets me thinking about a lot of things, like strategy wise and for the future anyway. And just for the battles in general, maybe if you're in an arena or gotchi arena fighting another gotchi, maybe
Yep.
don't sprint around as much because you might not have as many health points.
Yeah, I mean, if
Uh,
you're maybe a ranged gotchi, you might be able to sprint a little bit and kind of do a little bit of light kiting. It could be interesting, but yeah, you better watch out because the melee guy might sprint towards you and take you out too.
That's pretty cool. And then with the AP capacity, you said it might have some, like you said, action points, so you can open doors or maybe get access to a certain thing. But then the other part of AP is it's tied to how you can attack with your weapons. So if I have a legendary item, or let's say I have a godlike item, I wouldn't be able to just go around just one hitting everybody, right? That's kind
Right.
of what the AP capacity would limit.
Yeah, it solves a really interesting issue that we kind of knew going into the Gotchiverse we would have, which is typically in an MMORPG, a level 1 character cannot wield the most powerful game item, like the Black Portal Mage axe. But in our game, because they're NFTs, and they've been sold, and we did not include that in the metadata of the NFT, although we could have, but we chose not to because it would have limited. Basically, when we sold that NFT, there were no gotchis above level 3. So if we had said only a level 20 gotchi can equip this link cube, no one would be able to use it. And so we decided at that point to make it 0. There's no cap, but that introduces the issue of like a level 1 gotchi can now equip a link cube and shoot with it. Okay, so we don't want to retroactively change the NFTs. So one benefit that the AP system gives us is, well, you can have the link cube and you might be able to get one shot with it as a level 1. And that one shot is most likely going to drain most of your AP. So you're either going to have a lot of potions and chug those potions every time you shoot, and which is good for the economy, or you're gonna shoot and then run away and then wait a while and then have to shoot again. So it won't be a very effective play style, which if you're a level 30, you have much higher AP, you've invested your skill points into AP, you might have some items that boost AP, you'll be able to definitely wield that weapon more effectively.
That's really cool. I like that. And just the fact that potions are going to be involved with all this stuff makes me realize the demand. Are we thinking with potions? This is kind of off topic for traits, but are we thinking potions are going to be derived from Alchemica, like crafting with Alchemica?
Yeah,
Or is there
that's
going to be
definitely
some separate thing?
probably one use case for Alchemica, which I think would be a pretty cool sync for Alchemica. Will be we have a couple ideas that could get to fruition. One would be you go to a shop and you buy with some Alchemica, or there could be potentially an installation that you can craft that would like give you a certain potion every hour or so. Or it could be like it could be a shop that you craft and put on your parcel, and that it generates a potion that you can either use or you can sell or do whatever you want with it. So that would be a pretty interesting installation if we went that way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. In my mind, I had an idea as well around this that I don't know if it actually work or not, but this RuneScape game I used to play, you'd make potions in that game, but you need runes in addition to the or like a talisman essentially you would need to hang on to an item essentially, and you would still need the resources to make the potions, but you would have to kind of have that talisman in an inventory to craft that potion. So I wonder if some of the wearables could actually function as like that talisman. Like maybe you need to have that wine bottle in your inventory as part of, like, maybe it's kind of like a pseudo like ingredient in this potion as part of the, mix in with some Alchemica. It creates some interesting dynamic around, some of these wearables that are like drinks. And I know we have healthy drinks and unhealthy drinks. Maybe some of these could be used to create potions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a whole potential like specialization that could be done with potions. That's a whole new aspect we haven't really gotten into yet, but definitely is a lot of fun stuff to explore in that.
I mean, in previous games I've played, there have been whole markets that are just formed around
Mhm.
potions. Like people trading
Yeah.
potions, buying like armor or weapons with potions. Like it almost became like its own kind of pseudo currency in the game. When people need to trade items quickly for something, they would oftentimes use potions. So, I guess maybe we can go back to the little traits chat. I have all the traits pulled up here, like what's going to be possibly implemented going forward, like with the core proposal and whatnot. So the aggressiveness now, low aggressive Aavegotchis, Aavegotchis that are non-violent essentially are going to have high defense power, and then you have action speed for high aggressive Aavegotchis. So is that going to be like a hit rate, like a damage per second kind of thing, with action speed for a high aggressive Aavegotchi?
Yeah, I believe that. If you look at it, action speed, I believe it's like a modifier that will be applied to the attack speed. I think would be.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And then
But it
some
could
of them
also
are.
be for other things. It might not just be attack. We call it actions because it might be other things rather than not only just attacking.
Yeah, I think I've seen like Alchemica collecting speed and like different sorts of rates around movement and stuff as well. So I wonder if that kind of plays into it as well.
Ooh, we just got Golden Cross here coming in hot with proposal for land auction raffle number 3 within 1 week of Citadel release.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I see it past the SIGPROP in flying colors. I believe that was Dr. Wagme's original proposal to write that up. And the thread, I said about a week ago in the discussion channel for the DAO that I would provide some more context and hard numbers around what's available in the Citadel in terms of vacant parcels. Because even the zones that were in the first 2 land distributions, we didn't entirely, distribute the entire district. So every district still has vacant, unsold, unlisted lands. And so what I just provided here was a belated reply. Sorry about that, but we got the data in with basically a green chart that shows all the numbers for each district of how many vacants are there. And then there's a purple one that kind of proposes, if we stick with the 10K land sale 3, land distribution 3, how that could play out. And so it's just one of many configurations, and there's some discussion that can be had around, should we like unlock the remaining land parcels inside the 2 previous zones, plus unlock a bunch of new districts. So yeah, invite everyone to have a look, and we can play through it and see. Also, the 10K is like, that's how the SIGPROP is. But I know Wagme had mentioned if there's enough conversation around wanting to do a bit smaller one. If you look at this and you're like, we don't need a map that big, blah, 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 we could, always revise again with a new SIGPROP and it would supersede this one. That said, it's passed, I think, with like 90+% support and 3 million or 4 million over quorum. So, I mean, it looks pretty good, but we got to figure out the devil's in the details. Like, what does that actually mean when it plays out on the map? Yeah, I'll get the 8K option up too here. I see Wagme suggesting that. Yep.
It was an interesting conversation we had leading up to this proposal because we were kind of speculating in a gotchi space with a bunch of people thinking, are we going to see a Haunt 3 first, or are we going to see a land sale first? And it actually made, Dr. Wagme made a good point where if we're doing 6-hour rentals, which seems to be, between 4 and 6 hours seems to be the average for a rental, that's at least, 4 rentals in a 24-hour period. So if we have 20,000 gotchis or 18,000 gotchis that are being utilized right now, that's like a significant amount of daily active users that we can still accept with the current amount of Aavegotchis. Like, it's not just 20,000, it could be multiple times over that. So like that made me realize, well, maybe we don't need a Haunt 3 for a while actually, and maybe what we do need is some land, because I know there's some large guilds and players who have come into this that have maybe not deployed all their capital yet for land because they're still surveying everything.
I think completing the actual districts that have, leftover land in it, actually making them a complete, release. That way everybody can, kind of form their different things that they can put together. And, instead of expanding it to where people are kind of waiting to see who's going to get their property next to them.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for guilds that are already established in districts that are already live. They're going to want to be able to maybe have that option at least to further dig in the district that they already are setting up shop in.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the counter argument if we think about, do we have enough land as it is, or is this third sale needed? What are the downsides to doing a sale at this point? Is there enough demand for it? It'd be interesting to hear the arguments kind of from the proponents and from the opponents of this proposal. It's always interesting to hear the discussion between both sides.
With the delay of all the land and everything for the raffle with the drop tickets, do you guys think that maybe adding a few more parcels for the actual raffle part this time might, kind of equalize it?
We got some interesting ideas for drop tickets also coming up that are not land related, not haunt related. Can't share any more than that at this point, but
Okay, nice alpha. Nice alpha. Floor price just went up on drop tickets. Grab them while you can.
No futuristic is FOMOing.
He bought them all.
I wouldn't. I don't mean only. I mean, exactly what ticket it's going to be. I don't think we've really confirmed that, but definitely will be a use case for friends. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to go out and buy only drop tickets or only godlikes or whatever, but it will once the once it's fleshed out more, we'll definitely make official announcements about it. But there definitely will be a friends use case that doesn't involve printing more portals or more Aavegotchis.
To go back to the land and everything, I think it would be nice just to be able to own the property that's next to me, or at least someone own it so that it's just not open, allowing access to different things.
Yeah, I'm working to get the other mock-up for what the smaller 8K distribution would look like. Basically, the far east column would not need to be opened up at that point, and it would be more focused on filling in the existing zones and then just adding kind of along the top 23, 24, 25, 26. Just kind of make it like a flush kind of rectangle, but a rectangle within the wider citadel. And the thread has 35 comments. There is some pushback. I'd have to reread the whole thing here, but the ones that stood out were mostly concerns about the lending being fixed first, and it wasn't really related directly to whether to have an land distribution or not. It was more about we don't talk about it until we figure out this lending voting power issue, which is more of a subgraph thing. So I guess just definitely, yeah, take your time. There's definitely the ones who voted overwhelmingly in support, but there's definitely some considerations here on what it means for the market and market timing. Ultimately, it's up to you guys. But yeah,
so with these next 18 days, do you guys think that you guys will be able to whip something up, or?
For that, yeah, we're definitely very close on the subgraph side. I believe the subgraph has finally synced up after, I think it was 2 weeks. So the Aavegotchi lending subgraph is basically synced, and we are going to be making the PR, the proposal to snapshot to update the query that they use pretty soon. So hopefully we have very good news on that by next week.
We have a person in the chat, Esmeralda, who makes a good point about the land, the rollout for land. Says, need new land to draw new people to Polygon and Aavegotchi. and then mentioned something about the roadmap and the DAO to make onboarding less expensive. I think that it could be controversial, but at the same time, I see the point. Of making land. If it's very attainable right now, we could have a diverse group of landowners. But at the same time, on the other end of things, there have been people who've spent, a significant amount of capital acquiring land earlier on, during the earlier releases, and I could see them, maybe being a little bit upset about dropping floor prices on land in the short term. You know what I mean? In the long term, things are looking pretty good, but yeah, I think that would be the one, like, concern probably a lot of people have is maybe having a release of land. It's gonna drop the floor prices a little bit on land, which, in my opinion, in the short term, is not necessarily a bad thing, but it could definitely create some controversy around it. On the other opposing end of things, I guess.
I think people are going to want to complete their lands like we were just talking about too, though. So I think a lot of these people that did buy these early lands want to be able to buy up the ones that they're not allowed to buy right now. So, I mean, at least, the opportunity to kind of close up gaps in the guilds and stuff like that might be like an opposing argument.
Yeah, I noticed that my estates. I mean, I can't do estates because the things around me aren't for sale yet. So I was like, oh man, I've got nothing but grayed out blocks around me. So
Yeah.
However, with this new GBM, there's a strategy I'm kind of thinking about is if you see an address that's trying to bid on, parcels all close together, you could kind of be that guy that bids up the prices just to, because that guy probably wants that estate, right? That's probably why he's bidding on two or three, four or five parcels together. And I bet you there's going to be people going around during the GBM trying to find these clumps and
Yeah,
bid them up a little bit to generate some incentives.
yeah, you get a little kickback.
I just shared that picture here in the weekly Hangout channel for the 8K parcel distribution. The nomenclature is technically incorrect. It's not an 8K parcel sale, it's an 8K distribution, right? Because we'd stick with I believe the SIG prop is 70% auction, 30% raffle, as usual. So that's why I use the word distribution. But yeah, you get the point. It would be all the bottom row and all the outside column of districts would not be in play yet, keeping the map kind of like a miniature version of its citadel self.
Do you think because of the delay, maybe doing like a 60-40 for the raffle might be a little different?
Personally, I don't know what that would mean for, your quote unquote distributing more that kind of are one with less cost. You might see a little more dumping on the market. That's my first thought. But
Yeah, people have a lot of value holding those friends though, so I don't think like that might come into play as much. But you're right.
yeah, I don't know. It could. That's also fair enough. So yeah, it's hard to say. The market price on friends is hard to determine.
Yeah, I mean they're putting up their staking in order to get that APR back. They don't want to just throw away their APR unless they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think the last one was 70-30, and if I'm not mistaken, the first distribution was 80-20. So that would be an interesting trend to.
And what about the time difference in, from the first one to the second one, from the second one to which is going to be the third one? What's the difference?
There's definitely a bigger gap this time. I mean, the third one was originally slotted to come out before the alpha launched, but it obviously didn't. So I think whatever it is, it's probably at least double the length of time between distributions. And
Yeah,
then
that's why I was thinking adding just a little bit might actually help, just that value of that APR for people that did have the drop tickets. But then you guys said tickets are going to have even more value, so I don't even know what to think.
well, we realize, yeah, we've got to get more. There's been a backlog. I think it's been 4 months since there's been any sort of use for the tickets and therefore the friends. So we've got a couple things you might expect and then a couple things you probably wouldn't see coming that will give great utility to friends, not necessarily the tickets you're holding now, but I mean, yes, those two, but like Dan said, we're not saying just drop tickets or whatever. So there'll be some reshuffling of the deck here soon, a little meta movement. It'll be pretty interesting. But yeah, I think the Sig Prop just passed has this potential land sale somewhere happening in the middle of June, and that's current structure. And so it left some flexibility for figuring out what exact parcels and all that, kind of to the discretion of Pixelcraft. But we want to make sure we get the input here on, okay, exactly how many are we sure, and what kind of layout is everyone most excited about?
I definitely think that completing the districts that are open right now instead of opening up new ones, to kind of like do that again, to kind of have an incomplete district. It's just going to open up more alleyways and different things to kind of be counterintuitive to what people want to do right now.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of filling in what's left. Some people didn't even realize there's empty plots, and as we open up on May 18th with the land release, it'll become very apparent where, for better or worse, there's some areas that are a bit of islands onto themselves. Dan, what do you think? That might be good for farmers or channelers early on. They're like all alone, just channeling. They're like probably don't, not very social, but could be cool.
Be the antisocial farmer, all on his lonely self,
I
collecting.
got one
Alchemica.
all the way on the corner, all the way away from everything, right next to a district that's not going to be open. So
not too bad. You also notice on both these different mock-ups, the center of District 1 is still grayed out, so there's some work in progress happening there on the dev side that we'll save for another day.
One consideration is that there's only around 22,000 gotchis, obviously a max of 25,000. And if you have 30,000, I think it would put us up to 40,000 parcels, right? Literally, we don't even have enough gotchis to channel on every parcel every 24 hours. So, I mean, you can have reservoirs, but you won't have enough gotchis to channel every altar, which could be interesting.
I don't think a lot of people are going to open up all their lands right away, so that might not actually be a problem right away. I know I don't plan on opening up all my lands right away, so it's going to be kind of like a stake.
You can put an altar on it and channel without surveying. Maybe that's something you aren't aware of, but yeah, you don't have to actually survey with the altar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because
I did not know that. That's cool.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna, I think it's pretty clear, but that's because the channeling comes from a different source of, that's where the Alchemica, as opposed to from under your parcel. When you channel, you're not depleting your parcel's surveyed amounts.
Yeah, Tommy Gotchi says upgrading the altar allows for more gotchi channeling, but in the end, every gotchi can only channel once every 24 hours. So even if you have an altar that can channel every hour, you still need gotchis that have the ability to channel in that 24 hours.
Ghost themed Haunt 3. No, I know it's not very popular right now, but I do want to see Ghost Aavegotchi someday. Oh my goodness. Work towards that goal.
Action. Haunt 3, 250,000 gotchis, 10 ghosts each. Send it. The golden ghost gotchi. Yeah.
I mean, imagine a golden gotchi. Like, that would be so cool. Maybe there's just like a limited amount. There's like 5, like in the whole game. It's like very limited.
You just need like a whole godlike suit for your gotchi. So you need to do like a godlike release of the golden suit.
Oh, I like that. Like the golden suit. It's just a golden suit.
Yeah, that would be dope. Have a whole godlike gold Gotchi channeling on your, golden altar on your golden tiles.
Gold everything.
What says H3 10K airdrop to apes is not a bad idea. I don't think apes would care at all about Aavegotchi. They're in their own they're on the other side at this point.
Yeah, we were
they're
talking about this.
ETH
Go ahead, sorry.
maxis, they don't care about Polygon and like all the innovation that's happening. They just want their 8 PFP.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this on our podcast, and I think it's gonna be like there's gonna be little winners, like winners in every kind of genre in crypto, and there's gonna be probably something for everybody. Like these ape communities, they're I don't think they're also interested like any sort of game or anything like that. Like I know they're launching a metaverse and stuff, but primarily like they're basically it's a community of people and. There's the cultural aspect around their apes is basically the main thing they have going for that, but we have something different where it's like we got our own little culture over here. We got our own metaverse. It's gonna have a game. It's gonna be modular. There's like a social aspect. I think it's just gonna be a different flavor, and we're gonna be more attainable than an ape, that's for sure. And I like the idea of having multiple haunts, because that's the biggest thing is giving people opportunity to come into this once they find out about it, and get in at a reasonable entry point. I think that's the biggest thing that appealed to me actually when I was looking for a project to get involved with last year. It was like all these projects that were 10K PFPs. It's like once you miss the boat, the price to actually get in is pretty steep. And with Aavegotchi, it's like with subsequent haunts, there's always going to be this opportunity every now and then to get in and get your first Aavegotchi, and I think that's going to be a really powerful thing over time.
I think there definitely has to be time, you know what I mean, and demand before the, haunt is really there. You know what I mean? There really has to be like a really drop out in the floor price. There has to be, a really big demand for that next one. And who knows what the floor price is going to be in the Haunt 3, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the other thing that plays into it is the price of Ghost as well, because if the price of Ghost, keeps going up gradually over time, then maybe the gotchis don't go up in Ghost value exponentially, but in like fiat terms they do. Because it's like if Ghost is at $5, for example, and a gotchi in the GBM auction, the floor price is like 400 or 500 Ghost. It wouldn't be a lot higher than what it was last time, but the price would also be had appreciated in fiat terms. So I think it's an interesting kind of a mechanic between Ghost and the price of the assets like in Aavegotchi.
I was looking at hopefully the Ghost going up, the price goes up, the floor goes up. Once there is so much use case inside this game, the need for more is definitely evident, but it's just going to keep making, people pay more money for these things.
Especially once the value becomes apparent from channeling, from, being able to actually harvest Alchemica, what you can do with that Alchemica. Like, I really want to see like people joining the game, renting an Aavegotchi, collecting all the Alchemica, and maybe crafting some tiles because they realize, okay, well, these tiles are a limited edition thing. I don't own any land. I don't own any gotchis, but maybe I'm just a tile manufacturer, and selling the tiles and making some money that way. And I hope players start to realize that there's more than one way to kind of game, the Aavegotchi kind of merchant grind. I'm curious to know how many scholars have, if they've minted anything. any golden tiles or any altars. It'd be interesting to know that.
Yeah, I've seen a couple that have kind of successfully onboarded. I would not say they are the majority, but there definitely have been a few conversions. I've seen a couple new friends they have like the white Discord name, but they have Gotchis as PFPs, which is cool to see.
It seems like the culture of Aavegotchi is definitely catching on with some of the people who got involved during Gotchi lending. And I've heard some players are pretty excited, even though they don't own their own Aavegotchi. Um, there were some guildies in like the 8-Bit Gamers Guild who were renting naked Aavegotchis, and they went out and they dressed a bunch of Aavegotchis and then rented them out, and they're like, whoa, like this is crazy, like you can dress these things up, and like each one was now unique, and that was like because the people, not all of them, but some of them joining the game right now, they're not really reading the white paper. They were told by a friend of a friend that they're playing this game now, and they're earning some Alchemica, these tokens, and then they start playing the game, and then they're learning about it. Whereas when we first started, we read the white paper, or we tried to find what was the, like, what is an Aavegotchi, what does it do, what's the BRS, all that. And
Yeah.
these players are coming in at it from a different angle now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so much to catch them up on, and there'll always be kind of low information players that just want to jump in and pick up tokens and kind of convert back to their fiat. But the goal is to try to onboard and kind of get them interested in the bigger, wider game. And the social part will be really nice. So see people actually chatting and realize, hey, this is more than just like a farm game. I can sit here and I can make friends, and it's an open world, so I can discover new friends. I'm not just gonna be with my echo chamber of like 30 people in the same room together. I can stumble upon a guild or some group of people and chat with them. So I think all of that will definitely help bring new people on.
Yeah, we had some good
And
points being made. People like from other strategy-based games like Axie Infinity, they're coming to Aavegotchi now, which is going to be interesting to see how they game in Aavegotchi.
yeah, Aavegotchi is we have a very unique offering. Like, we're not an auto battler. We are not just a social metaverse. We're really a hybrid of farm game and social and metaverse. So I think it's a very, very unique offering. And I think as we as this if this bear market continues and valuations are going down, Ghost will definitely continue to shine, and the tokenomics of the Alchemica will hopefully also like keep them strong, and people, yeah, they'll just naturally gravitate towards the flight to quality.
Maybe this is a good opportunity for these scholars to get involved in this next land auction. Maybe we should start educating them on why they should be looking into some land, if they have the means to do that, what the potential is of that. Because I think that could be a really big opportunity for someone who's a scholar, is really interested in the game, but just doesn't know what the earning potential could possibly be. It's there's more certainty when you own your own parcel, right? Compared to
Yeah,
when you're going around
totally.
collecting it.
Especially with May 18th coming, and they see the game changing before their eyes towards this more mature game, not just a play drop, not just Pac-Man. And they'll be like, okay, this is very early days, and you just get a humble parcel. You could do a lot with that. You could get started with channeling. You could start farming. So that's a very good point. Between that and uh, the GBM itself, just bidding to earn. There's like, you play that right, you could basically earn a humble parcel for free. So there's a lot of ladders. We need more ladders extended to the scholars to give them opportunities to kind of get more involved and actually contribute and not just be a value extractor. And if we give them the opportunities, then a certain percent like will convert and will grab onto that. It's like not just that, but then there's the lending aspect if they want to go with the Gotchi or just joining these different guilds and then doing more play to earn that way. Eventually, you put it all together, and they may be like, "Why am I dumping it all? I could actually like double down on this and do better for myself." So, and have some fun, make some friends along the way, like Dan said, with the social features.
Yeah, it's like bolstering that yield on your parcel while, you're also interacting, you're part of a community, and a lot of them do appreciate that. Even amongst their own kind of cliques, that they've formed. We have a like Filipino community, we have a South American community, and they, because of the language and the culture, they get along with each other already. So it's like they're already in the right place, and now they're earning and they're playing. It's gonna form these other little like subgroups in guilds and stuff. But like from what you were saying, from a scholar perspective, it's probably worth looking into. If there are any scholars in the chat, it's worth looking into a humble parcel, especially for this next GBM auction. It's very doable to start out with like 50 ghost and actually earn yourself a parcel. I did that last GBM auction. I wish I would have documented it a little bit better, but I was able to start with, I think, what did I start with? I think I started with 90 ghost, and then I ended up being almost 170 ghost. And then with that,
Wow.
I took a portion of that and bought a piece of land for 95 ghost. So I was able to basically get a piece of land for like, $80. He's like, it wasn't totally unobtainable, you know. Huge future potential with that.
Quick announcement. I believe we're heading into the final 10 minutes of the play drop. Like truly, truly. I think we're gonna have some big 10K drops here over the next few minutes, and then we will finally have successfully completed the 30-day play drop kickoff of the Gotchiverse. Feels good.
Definitely dope.
It's been real. It's been so exciting. Like Dan said at the beginning, just kind of a little bit of everything. Good, bad, and otherwise. Some sleepless nights, but
Yeah.
all in all, success.
You guys probably found this sandboxed environment really helpful for you to optimize the bot detecting and stuff before it got rampantly out of control, hey? Like that would have been that's probably a big benefit to doing it this way.
Absolutely. Yeah, very important. Step by step. Learn as we go.
Yeah, we're shipping this plane as we're building it. It's a pretty intense experience, but that's what you got to do in crypto. No one's got time for 2-year dev cycles. Everyone wants stuff now, and they should, because this industry just changes so quickly. If you're not shipping, you're falling behind.
It's a hyper innovative environment. So if you're not getting those 4 a.m. phone calls to wake you up occasionally, what are you doing?
That's going to be cemented as Dan's quote. If you're not shipping, you're falling behind. I like that. Who wants to make a meme about that?
Yeah.
If you're not shipping, you're falling behind. For sure. That GitHub is just like all green pages, all green blocks.
I'll tweet it out. You guys can.
Yeah, that's the only way. There's a new social video that dropped on Twitter. It's kind of buried because Twitter doesn't really like showing thumbnails or any preview of a YouTube link, but it's a pretty good one. Good one to share with people about what the social release is all about. So Gravy and his team put a lot of work into that, and it turned out pretty nice. So definitely check out the YouTube channel and or just go to Twitter and you can find the link there. But it's a good one to pass around and introduce to new people that might be more interested in the social aspects of hanging out and exploring a metaverse together, as opposed to just the play trap kind of one-dimensional aspect of that.
And remember, there will be a couple different hangouts during the social mode. The first one will be May 7th, and then we'll announce the second one after that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, basically a week from today. Yeah, High Plains
Yeah,
has
no,
there. Nice. The video I was referring.
there may be some experimentation. If you guys might have caught it in that blog post we made with a little bit of potential Citadel PvP potentially playing around. It was so exciting when that guy found out how to turn on the hearts, and we had a bloodbath for a couple hours. So we might play with that a little bit.
That was funny.
421. Never forget.
He went around he was one of those mass shooters or whatever.
Madman.
That's so funny.
Aavegotchi. So yeah, we could definitely have some flexibility within this social mode to experiment with different a little PvP, a little bit of everything. So
You guys had mentioned a King of the Hill as well.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really what it could be is we drop some Alchemica, and the vortex will only be open for a certain amount of time during that game period. And so whoever can get to the vortex in time will be able to claim the Alchemica from the game. But it'll be a certain period of time, and if if the time elapses and you haven't gotten to the portal to the vortex, then you probably just lose your Alchemica. But there'll be people basically shooting each other around the vortex, trying to gank them before they get to it. So it'll be kind of fun to see that happening and just unleash a little bit of friendly chaos. Not that we're gonna have that in the real Citadel, but occasionally
we
fun
learn
to experiment with.
right what works, what doesn't. It'll definitely not be for naught. It'll be useful.
Well, that pretty much, I believe that was the last drop just then. I think that is pretty much all that we'll be doing for this play drop, guys. We'll make an announcement here in just a sec.
We have someone who has collected 100 alpha. Has anyone collected more than that? Has anyone collected more than 100 alpha?
Wow.
That's pretty good.
I got 110.
In this night, right? Just now?
Yeah, I got 110. Or no, not alpha. I got 68 alpha, but I got over 110 stuff altogether.
Nice. See how many. And remember, you do have a couple more hours here if you want to mint one more altar. Altars will be available until midnight on May 1st UTC time. So that's probably like 8 hours from now, I think. Yeah. It's midnight for me
The
here.
FOMO's
So
gonna kick in at 11:30 tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out for the afternoon, come back and FOMO all over again. Like, oh, here we go.
Oh shit!
5,000 golden altar floor price tomorrow.
Awesome, guys.
Okay. Yeah. Just
I thought there'd be one more massive drop at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, we're pretty much tapped out.
Yeah, that was a lot.
This was good. It was fun. I had fun collecting, handfuls of Alchemica at least every time, and I'm casually walking around here and talking to you guys, and being able to collect 32 Alchemica in that time without really trying too hard was kind of nice, actually. So I look forward to being able to do that on my own parcels channel on there, and
Yeah.
yeah, appreciate you guys sharing all the alpha today and giving us a glimpse of what the next month could look like.
Yep. Thank you guys as always for coming out. I'm gonna jump out quietly here. Feel free to keep going.
Quick question. Is there still going to be a smaller play drop, like it says something like that, in the next 18 days, right?
Yeah, the May 7th, basically 1 week from today, we'll have another hangout, and there will definitely be some Alchemica dropping.
Nice. Will there be any small Alchemica drops during like just regular time for the communication chat?
Nothing significant, probably.
I was just wondering if I should rent out my gotchis or just kind of keep them home.
Yeah, give them a break. They've been running hard for the last month.
Yeah, I
We're
think
gonna
some
be
bots
doing
got a hold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
May
think
7th,
bots do a
friends.
good job
That's
of picking
gonna
it
be
up,
good.
but
So definitely
say
go
May
out and get some
7th.
fresh air.
While you can.
Oh yeah.
I think I might sacrifice one just for fun.
You're bored already?
I was just kidding.
Yeah, keep him around, you know.
Play drops over 10 seconds. He's like, all
Let
right,
him
I'm killing
breathe.
somebody.
Yeah.
I'm
May
the
7th. All right,
sacrifice.
that's gonna be good. We can look forward to that. I'm gonna write up a little summary here for people who want to catch up on what happened here today. We'll get that, and we have some friends who have volunteered to also, translate that into Spanish, and maybe we'll hopefully can get some other languages as well to get the word out in these hangouts and get more people in here. And
Yeah.
that's all I got. Thank you guys for coming out
Yep.
today, hanging
Keep,
out with
keep
us.
the momentum. Keep the momentum going. Educate your scholars. Treat them well during this downtime, and we'll be back starting May 18th.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
Yeah,
Cool.
love it.
Bye, guys. Later.
All right. Later,
Later.
friends.
Bye, everybody.